Hello, everybody. This is Liz Productions 5784 here, and we also have another guest with us.
This is Mr. the Hedgehog.
And welcome to the first commentary special of Liz's journey, starting with the beginning book. So I wanted to do this for a while because I've never done it with any of my other projects, but this one means a lot to me, and I wanted to kind of share some behind-the-scenes stuff and and give some facts and that kind of thing. We will be doing both projects, like my original and also Adam's adaptation for his. Okay, so with that being said, we are going to start with my original. It was kind of frustrating that this was really delayed for 4 years, mostly because some artists just couldn't finish on time, and some were, dealing with their education, which was understandable, but still, I kind of wanted to get it done on time, so it was 4 years late. Or rather, I don't mind if it was a year late, but still 4 years. God damn it.
Yeah, because I remember we were like, when did we first start writing it? Like back in 2018, 19, something like that?
Something like that. And then 2020 was when I made the casting call for this and started to work on the audio, that kind of thing. So that's all I remember. But yeah, it was mostly just waiting on art to get done. Some people had to drop out as well, mostly because they were taking too long or they ghosted on me, which sucked. So I had to desperately try and find some new folks to help out. But that was why it was delayed. So hopefully for future stories, it won't be as terribly long as 4 years, because good Lord, I'll be 40 by the time the last book is done. So I really hope it doesn't happen like that. I don't mind if it's a year delay, maybe a year and a half delay, maybe 2 years, I don't know, but no longer than that. So we're going to see how it goes. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to start with Liz's Journey Book 1, The Beginning, on my channel. So here we go. And for the intro here, I really got to thank my friend Ben, the Rail Funk Punk, because he recomposed this intro for me years back, and I love it so much. So thank you, Ben. And I wanted to give Adam some credit here for his channel, so I asked him how he wanted his intro to go, and so he just kind of recommended me something like that.
Yeah, one of the rare times I actually have my own intro.
Have you ever considered on doing one? I mean, something short like what I just did?
Not exactly. Mainly because you know my videos.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we start off with the blueprint because, like any engine being born in the Thomas universe, they start off as a blueprint. So, yeah. But I went really in depth with the backstory of her creator because, I just kind of slice of life stories by expanding on human characters, I guess, because, that's the thing. I included a lot of human and engine interaction in this story because I like that a lot in the Thomas universe. Oh, and notice the posters behind Mr. Morgan about the future of railways, and need steel with the steelworks kind of foreshadows on what's going to happen in Liz's story, Yeah,
because from the time period of this, although it is its own fictional universe, so some of the engines are supposed to be built much later, the 40s and 50s appear, but realistically, all when Eliza and Peter were first built, they would have been released in the late 1900s. So engines what was it, 9401 and Merrill, they weren't even built yet.
I wanted to quickly say, the moment when it talked about how Percy or / Peter couldn't awake, that's actually a bit of a reference to my own brother, because when he was born, he had some breathing problems, and so he had to stay in the hospital for a few days. He's all right now, but yeah, it was just one of those moments where, a newborn baby was having difficulty, and so I wanted to kind of include a little bit of that, where Percy was very difficult on waking up.
As the two tank engines learned their way around the yard near Oxford Station, they got to know some of the other engines of the GWR. They learned that Eliza's kind and cautious to anyone.
Yeah, Oxford.
Peter was also
Actually,
I just wanted to quickly
Oh, yeah.
say I really got to thank you for helping me with the history and, you know, the railway accuracy, because I'm still trying to learn, but you're really the master at this kind of stuff, so I gotta thank you for this.
Yeah, of course. I help whenever people ask for it.
Yeah.
But was there any reason why you chose Eliza and Peter at Oxford?
You helped me choose that station, didn't you? I thought you did. Somebody chose that for me. I don't know.
Can't remember it myself.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Old geezer dead.
Yeah, that's life for you. That's like the difficulty with human and engine interaction. Makes me wonder. Well, I'm sure there have been fan stories where the engines don't understand why humans die and move on. It's like, oh, you've been such a good friend. Why do you have to go? That kind of thing. Because, they live on forever until they're scrapped.
Peter and Eliza didn't ever want to be separated from each other.
And yeah, like I shouldn't say any human. This is kind of like human for us on Earth, but there's good and bad. So that's why I made Mr. Stevens like kind of a bad person, because there are folks out there even today that just are, greedy and mean, and I just have to incorporate some kind of evil like that, even like in a human.
1930.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And kind of another inaccuracy about Meryl, because what was it? She was the real engine is called Goodrich Castle,
Yes.
which was built in 32.
Yeah, I've had several comments of people saying this is inaccurate. Like, I'm sorry, people. I don't know.
Yeah, one of the comments that made me laugh was like, "Hey, why is Meryl a Great Western Castle covered in blue? Blue livery wasn't even in the 50s. Well, apparently, the Meryl is a Great Western Castle. That makes it worse."
Well, like I said, I wasn't very good at maybe choosing the kind of right engine basis. But the reason I can tell you why she is blue is because I referenced her. Well, mostly like the personality of Meryl and her color is because I referenced her from the witch of Disney's Into the Woods, or yeah, it was Disney's Into the Woods, because I don't think the original witch from the Broadway show was blue. But yeah. And the witch was played by Meryl Streep from Into the Woods. So that was another reason why she was. That's another reason of a reference, I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I remember when you asked me about what basis Meryl could be, one of the designs could have been like a Great Western Queen. So basically a Great Western single. But of course that was a very old engine, and you want something a bit more bigger and not as old as Eliza.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's a fact here. So, the person voicing Percy here in this special was Nate the Great. However, that was not the case, because I've had someone else who offered to voice for him, and that was another reason why it was delayed. I believe his username was Cheeky Saddle Tank. He said he would like to voice Percy. However, he ghosted me several times, and I think in the end, like, he turned it down, the role. So I desperately had to find somebody else. And so I guess either I set up an audition, or I either turned to Nate, because I know how he does many good voices. So he was the temporary Percy. For the next few stories, though, I have another actor who will be voicing Percy, and I hope that he's not going to ghost me either, because he is a very good Percy voice, and you guys will see that in the next story. So yeah, Nate was pretty much a temporary replacement for Percy here.
Mr. Stevens is thinking about where to drop me off. I'm being put on a flatbed and taken away tomorrow afternoon.
Oh yeah. So Percy being the little screw-up, or should I say Peter?
Yeah.
Because the name Peter, that was from Peter Pan, wasn't it?
Yes, but I had to give them different names because if, according to the Railway series, like the Fat Controller said, "I'll call you Percy," and I was like, do you suppose he probably had a name prior to that? So that's why I came up with the idea that they had to have different names. Although I guess maybe it kind of sounds wrong that okay, now they're assigned like a different name, even though they like their old ones. Perhaps I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, and this when we did the different mediums. So from what was it, illustration to now sprites.
Yes, the reason why I did that is because as much as I would like to do the project by myself, but sprite animation is a lot of work. You guys have no idea. Plus, I was like, working 2 jobs and I had family stuff. I mean, I can't be on the computer 24/7 to work on this, and I did not want the project to delay any further. And the other reason was because I was inspired by the My Little Pony audio dramas over the years. I'll recommend a few sometime, but I've noticed how the directors of those projects have asked artists and animators and a whole bunch of other talented folks to submit scenes. So yes, that's why the styles change over time. Some people may have been bothered by that, but I think it was a pretty good idea. Plus, the TCC and the classic series creations also do that. They switch different toy model brands and stuff. So this is from the artist side in a way.
And of course, this is the very first song.
Yes.
If I never knew you from Pocahontas.
To those who are wondering why I included songs into my stories is because, well, I'm a theater kid. I used to do theater, and I love musicals, and I love singing songs. So I wanted to try something different from, well, I wouldn't say technically different. I mean, they did that in recent years, since I think Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, when the engines actually sang in person and not just a background band. But I really wanted to include musical songs, because in a way, my stories are kind of Disney-fied in a way. So, yeah, I really wanted to include songs in there.
Yeah, of course, this is a song that I chose to remove, mostly because it's a lovely song, but what I considered was my Percy voice would ruin the song. Can you imagine my Percy just being like, "If I never knew you"? It would not sound good.
I'll remember, Eliza. I promise.
Oh, and yeah, the stars thing, that's a personal thing for me because I love stargazing, and every time there's a clear sky, I just love to stand outside and just see the stars. It just gives me comfort all the time. That's why I incorporated that.
Meanwhile, somehow Meryl is still asleep through this.
Well, like in any Disney movie, the characters would sing aloud and none of the others would notice. It's kind of I don't know, maybe an inner thought type of thing. Or maybe they're not singing at all, but it's just somehow a part of it. I don't know. But I will say, I'm thankful that, when Nate was the temporary replacement, he was a really good singer. So thank you, Nate, for singing as Percy, because you did a really great job.
Of course. I think all the cast members actually did a good job.
Yeah. But a lot of
Both in,
people have said that this was a really beautiful song, because touching,
Yeah.
as it's the last time they'll see each other for a long time.
Here we are with Mickey's drawings.
Interesting thing with Mickey's is how during the time of production, he first started using drawings, which was cool, but then somehow he eventually got a hold of the Trains program, and then he started doing those kinds of animated videos, and then there was a scene or two that I needed filling, and he filled those in with Trains. So he did 2 different mediums, illustration and Trains.
1350?
Oh, that little klutz. I sent him packing first break of day.
Yeah. Eliza's a bit big.
I'm not gonna let it bother me. I mean,
Goodbye to him.
Oh, please. It would have been better to let you have a good rest instead of being tired for the rest of the day. If you
Yeah, funny, because with Callum was voicing him, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Or AKA
Like,
Mr. Merlin fan.
you're the reason the
yeah, because he recorded his lines like way before he left for university,
Yes.
and then
I have some
so you had the whole like the audio in like storage for about roughly what was it 4 years
I
or something like
actually
that.
gave you that audio because you came to
Yeah.
me and it's like, hey, do you still have that? It's like, yes, I do. So I always
Yeah.
keep, the audio. I don't get rid of it
Can't all agree with
because,
some.
yeah, you needed that.
I too liked Peter being here with us. You want to collect my coat?
Yeah, and this location is supposed to be at Didcot, which is just a bit 3 miles away from Oxford down south.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Admittedly, this is a little bit of an oopsie on my part because I didn't
Oh.
realise that Oxford had its own ancient shed.
Oh, and
Ah,
yeah,
the
the
workshop.
part where Percy is introduced in the classic series. So this is like, one of the first connections.
Yeah.
That's the one. If I choose you, would you want
Ah,
mine?
there's the big man himself.
Oh, yes, sir. Please, sir.
That's a good engine. I'll call you Percy. Would you like that?
Oh, yes, sir.
And that's, yeah, why I gave him a name prior to Percy because, he assigned him that name.
As the
Because,
months became years, the Second World War soon broke out in Europe.
yes, I had to be historical here because, the World War happened. I can't, have it not exist because it's part of history. And I've seen the several films, yes, where, trains like evacuate the kids from London, and I'm sure like they carried soldiers and supplies, so that's like one of the reasons why Meryl is overprotective of Liz, is because, she was terrified of like, what the world has become with the war, which is kind of a reflection with me almost, because I'm a pretty anxious person at times. I mean, I'm still hopeful that things will get better, but, it's like, oh God, this happened and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's just frightening.
For during the war, she had to carry frightened passengers and injured soldiers to and from big cities of the country. Now
I
she
mean,
feared that
it would make
Eliza,
anyone feel
the
traumatized seeing like,
would become
well,
lost to the
I don't know if she would have seen like,
where you see
destroyed engines, like, from bombs or something, or what, but yeah, like seeing injured humans, she would, yeah, be traumatized. I would be too.
But to Eliza, she didn't want to stay in the yard forever.
Because war is not a
She
good
thought
thing.
doing the same jobs for years. Eliza wanted to pull a train of her
Yep,
own
and
around
there's the
yard.
diesels.
But whenever she got
Yep,
a chance
the
to time
start
to
of
do
the
it,
diesel
she would
revolution
sit
has
out first in
begun.
the sheds during the morning roll call.
Of course, this is just me being absolute nitpicky, but that diesel, that's a class 40, that rarely or was even never on the Great Western.
Probably just traveling,
Yeah.
passing by kind of thing. Oh yes, James Fan 1991 sprite animations. I feel so bad for him because he lost his files after or rather like just a year before this premiere date, and yeah, all of his files are gone, so I feel so bad for him. Oh, and yes, this engine. Now, I did not really give him a name because I had no idea, so he was just given a number. But for Adam's adaptation, he and I brainstormed, and then we came up with the name Joseph.
Will do, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But for my version, he's still a number, because again, maybe I should have given it to him. I don't know.
It's kind of funny, though, because at least in my story, or timeline-wise, you first saw this engine in 1969. And I basically went up to you and be like, so, do you mind if we give this character a name? Oh, yeah, sure. What do you want to call it? Joseph, perhaps?
It
so what are you
probably
gonna
randomly came to my mind, I guess.
Yeah. So what are you going to do with it? Oh, simple, really. He's going to die.
Yes. I've seen comments from people saying that if it wasn't for Joseph, Liz wouldn't have, gone on her journey. That is kind of true in a sense, because in a way, like, when she is taking, I'm just going to say Joseph for now, even though it's not really canon in this project, but I'll say it anyway. But when she took Joseph's train, it was like, she was dipping her toes in and like, venturing out past her yard, because, she's just been stuck in there, and now that she's going out, she would finally, like, kind of see what the world is like. So, in a way, yeah, Joseph, like, helped her kind of see what's
Basically,
out there.
like the unsung hero, you could say. Kind of like in Iron Man 1, there was someone who saved Tony Stark from being killed.
Yeah, pretty much.
To take your train.
Oh, there's no need, sir. 1347 took it.
But yeah, with the 9400s, a lot of them were actually allocated to the Inkley Incline, or the Licky Incline. So that's the real-life version of Gordon's Hill, where they were used as bankers.
Oh,
I have no one
okay.
to shunt the important goods train in the next half hour. I'll have to see to it that you'll be shut
And yeah,
away
again
from
with
this
Callum's
straight
acting, he
away.
does a really good job.
Without
He's so
your
expressive.
repairs.
Sir, you don't need that.
The time has come for your diesel replacement, 9401. Hope you enjoy the rest of your days in the scrap.
And yeah, like with the diesel revolution happening, yeah, of course, like he would think on wanting to scrap Joseph on the spot there.
I knew taking this train
Oh, one of
was
Nate's great illustrations here.
my one chance of
Yeah.
freedom. The yard has been like my locked tower or something.
Actually, I think it's like very vague and ambiguous, like, or where Oliver's branch line was, isn't it?
This isn't meant to be Oliver's branch line. He was probably just collecting something from a different
Okay.
station, I guess.
Well, it's my
But yes,
Yeah.
I wanted to at least like have her interact with a Sodor engine before she makes her final destination at Sodor, just so she would recognize at least someone and not like feel awkward. But I'm getting ahead of myself there. Plus, Oliver is just one of my favorite Sodor engines.
I can't stay in the yard forever. I want to prove I can do more.
And also, in a way, it kind of shows Oliver's life before he made his escape. So, at least, yeah, that was also cool, too, to introduce him here.
Oh, I suppose I'll see you around 1347.
Actually, I'm personally called Eliza.
Name's Oliver.
Yeah, I find it cute. It's kind of like how you described it, like you have Percy mingling with Doug, so naturally Eliza would be
Yeah,
involved.
that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Callum's shouting yes. But yes, yeah, you reminded me of that. Yeah, Duck with Percy and Oliver with Liz. Yes, that is another good connection there.
Taking a train out of the yard. Thanks to your stubbornness, Meryl had to shunt the important train to the station herself, as she was the only engine around. Meryl has
Oh,
no
the horrors.
experience with
Tender
shunting,
engine shunting.
Which is why I rely on you to do the task. If I ever catch you pulling a stunt like that again, 1347, you are done!
Done?
Casted for scrap. I already had plans to send 9401 to the smelter's yard first thing next morning because of his broken parts.
Yeah, this one's one of my favourite illustrations that Nate made.
Oh, yeah.
Very detailed, considering I went to the real location of this.
Oh, nice.
Of leaving at all. You are needed here for your.
I forgot to mention, the human designs, like the human character designs I'm trying to say, I used a type of model game to get the accurate hairstyle and outfits and stuff, just so the other artists would know exactly what I'm looking for, that kind of thing. Oh, and this coming animation.
Oh shit. Mummy's pissed.
Oh, and yeah, aside from the witch of Into the Woods, which, this song is also based from, there's another character that Meryl is kind of based on, and that's Mother Gothel from, Rapunzel's story, or aka Tangled in a way. So, it's a combo of both.
You should listen. What have I been to?
But, in a way, this is kind of like, a parent being like, where on earth have you been? It's way past your curfew, kind of thing. That's kind of why it's like that.
I
Like, I for one have not gotten in trouble with something like that, but, you know, that's kind of common for a teenager. Like, be home by 10, or like, you know, you shouldn't go to this, you shouldn't do that kind of thing.
Of course, mentality age is a bit questionable for steam engines, because it's like, Eliza would be like 30 years older than Meryl.
Yes, I know, but, you know, it's complicated with age in the Thomas characters. Like, Thomas is supposed to be older than Gordon, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, you see what I mean? And he's acting like a freaking teenager. So, it's pretty complicated. I think, oh gosh, it's complicated how, you know, the engine's personalities are born in them and they're stuck with them, you know? Because they don't age.
Brothers, yes, but diesels and humans too. Stay at home. I am home. Who am there?
Yeah, because... Yeah, I remember when I first saw Into the Woods, like... Well, it must have been 2014 when it was first released. At first, I wasn't entirely the biggest fan of it, but over time, I kind of thought it was like a alright film. An alright stage play as well.
Well, if some people don't know, Into the Woods kind of is a big reflection on life in a way, only just told through a fantasy setting. It's just you have to watch the film several times to see what it's all about. Like going into the woods is kind of like going out on your own in life. Like, you know, stepping out of your comfort zone. So, I could ramble on and on about it, but, you know, that's not here right now. But I just want to recommend that movie and or play musical to you guys, because it's a pretty good story. It used to have adult themings back then, but they revised it for the modern musical of today. And, yeah, the movie did not, I don't think, contain those adult elements anymore, because it's Disney. Oh yes, people have been complaining about this part. In order for Meryl to have Eliza stay, she had to lie because, you know, if she would say like, "Oh, don't worry, Percy's safe and sound," it's like, "Oh, well, goodbye," and then Liz leaves. So Meryl wanted Eliza to stay. Because, you know, that's another thing. Like, you know, with Mother Gothel and the witch, you know, she's kind of a villain. She's not, I wouldn't say, maybe I guess she is hurting her, like, mentally, but, yeah.
Many saddened years slowly passed by. Eliza couldn't smile as much anymore.
And there's James A. Williams.
Uh-huh. He also does very good drawings.
Eliza soon realized that life on the
67.
GWR wasn't getting any better. For first,
Yeah, this way gets very hazy.
and let his son take over Oxford Station.
I'll say this, reason why he's not happy is because it's one of those stories that, you know, the child is forced into the family work. And he's like, I didn't want this job to begin with. So that's like why he's also not as friendly. And plus, you know, his father probably was also abusive towards him, so of course that's why he was also mean.
As if that wasn't her only problem, Meryl still kept a close watch over Eliza, making sure the Trojan tank engine couldn't leave and let Meryl be alone. Eliza didn't think there was no easy escape from this hellhole. There were times she much preferred to be sold or scrapped to join her brother Peter.
Depression. That's what it is.
It's not a phase, Mum, she would say.
Oh, and yeah. Another good connection right here with Tale of the Brave. Just to, like, you know, show how Percy is doing.
It's really funny, Gator, but
Yeah. Sort of funny to think that the year that Gator was on Sodor was also when Flying Scotsman was visiting as well. And as well as Oliver was saved.
I don't know. the timeline in I don't know, the timeline is confusing sometimes, so I'm sorry. But, I mean, when you look at the show today, like CGI era and TV series, like it just looks like, they're stuck in what looks like the 50s or 60s, Like they're not wearing modern clothes and, they don't have technology, advanced technology of today, Oh, and yes, some Undertale music. I love incorporating that stuff. Undertale's a really good game. Alright, here's like a big connection.
Oh dear.
What?
69.
Yes.
Yeah, this is where it gets iffy.
It gets
Yeah.
iffy.
Well, the Steam ban was finally announced in 1968, so no Steam engine should be working at all, not even if they're shunters.
Well,
But,
it's an
it's
alternate
like what you
universe.
said.
Alternate universe.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be historically accurate, I guess. Because, again, it's complicated in the Thomas universe. But anyway, the introduction of Truro. Yay. Because, yeah, I wanted to include a sort of mentor figure to give Eliza the confidence she needs to finally leave. And I thought, I think maybe you recommended this, or I don't know, but I think someone recommended City of Truro, or I don't know if it was just me, but I think someone mentioned that he was a great Western, and it would fit.
Yeah, because I think I may have introduced Earl of Berkeley, who was also a Great Western Engine.
Yes, I think you did, because I would have no idea for this one.
Shedmate Meryl says the world is too dangerous for me to venture.
And of course, that's narrow gauge for each voice in
Yeah.
City of Truro.
Yeah, he's taken part in several voice projects years ago, and he has such a good voice, so I really wanted to have him as like a mentor character. So
It's funny, actually, because I think, like, when we were trying to figure out who could voice whom, it was either that Nate... It was either going to be Nate and Narrow Gauge were either going to be either City of Truro or Earl of Berkeley, and we flip-flopped on which one would be better, but at the end of it we chose Narrow Gauge as City of Truro and Nate as Earl of Berkeley.
it seems to work.
You've been there before?
Oh yes, back in 19...
Another connection with oh crud, I forgot the title.
Yeah, Diesel... I mean,
No,
Duck
no.
in the Diesel engine.
Peter?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I was also thinking that other episode, where Gordon lost his dome, but yeah,
Gordon, the famous visitor.
yes. But I forgot that he made an appearance in Duck and the Diesel Engine book. Because yeah, he just mentioned how he met the engines of Sodor.
I must go to Sodor right away.
Oh, whoa, slow down, little one. You'll never be able to get to Sodor without clearance from British Railways.
Maybe not. But we can
Oh, and yeah, the first interaction that I've ever had with her crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, you spoke
Well,
before you even just said design.
well, I don't know. It's at around this time that they finally are like agreeing with this and not going to be silent anymore, I guess.
But what about Meryl? She would freak if she found out it was...
Oh, and yes, the music in the background, that was from Tynes' movie, Tobias and the Half Pariah, because it was some years ago when he allowed people to use his music, and it's really good. I mean, he's come a long way with his music, especially in his recent film, Tobias and the Arcane Merchant, like really cinematic more. But, his other orchestration of Tobias and the Half Pariah was also really good.
Yeah, you had to wait 4 years for you. We had to wait 10 years for his.
Well, he was talking about how he had some surgery and some
Yeah.
job searching, so yeah, that's what happens. Plus, he had to get a new computer, I think. I remember reading that, because, like I said, with running too many programs, it can hotwire your computer, overheat it.
There's Earl Berkeley.
Yeah.
Fun fact is that City of Truro and Earl Berkeley did actually do a double-header train in sometime in the early 70s.
Yay! We were right then. Kind of. Oh, and yes, one of my favorite
Nighttime.
songs. Nighttime, daytime, nighttime. And yes, this was storyboarded by me. I didn't want to try and do a sprite scene for this because it was too simple. So I wanted to try, storyboard style.
My God, Meryl's fat.
Sorry. I tried to find a photo of her for this shot, but no. So I had to hand draw it myself. Oh, and yes, this song. Because, it just fits because she's like, thinking like, oh, should I stay or should I go? That kind of thing.
It definitely came out, or when we were writing this, it definitely was writing it in the right period, because, what was it, Frozen 2 came out in 2019, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. I think during the time of writing that, even before Frozen 2, we were just writing out the story, and then when it came out, I was like, ooh, this is a really good song. I should incorporate this. Like, every time, a movie or, a song that speaks out to me comes out, it'd be like, ooh, I should maybe consider putting this in the story. So, yeah, just recently, I've had a friend that showed me from a episode of a TV series. I won't say because I don't want to spoil, but I thought it sounded so good for a situation in a future story that I wanted to include it. So I keep adding stuff. Will you pipe down? We're trying to sleep. Yeah, but again, this is another one of those maybe inner song thoughts, which is actually, yeah, now it reminds me, it's why the scene is black and white. I mean, not just because it's nighttime, but it's also kind of a way for Liz to think in her mind while she's sleeping, because how else would she be able to drive on her own and see the image of Peter and stuff and sing, because the others would wake up at her singing. So in a way, this is kind of like a dream or inner thought kind of thing. Because see, her crew's not there. How is she driving on her own?
She's also skiing.
I could not find the time to do the wheel animation. Now,
Chef's disappeared.
Originally, in the script, it's meant to be like a smoke silhouette, not like a transparent image, but I tried to figure out how to do that in Photoshop, and it just wasn't working. So I decided to go with, okay, I'll just do a mirage instead of Peter.
Yeah, she thought they were fireflies.
Yeah, that too. Fireflies or smoke, something like that. That's how it was in the original script. But yeah, this was a heck of a lot of fun to record. I even remember where I recorded, because as it was years ago, I recorded this in my family basement, where it was really good soundproof walls before I moved to my first apartment. So it was awesome that it kept things good with the audio.
We're escaping, remember?
What? Now?
Now this was recorded by Ricardo, I believe, or Trains Mania something.
I suppose you'll be leaving now.
It seems like
But yeah, it gives a kind of Railway Series vibe almost with the design of the engines.
Don't worry. Mariel will learn in time that she can't always be with you. And the right thing to do would be letting go of the ones closest to her. As for Mr. Stevens, I'll just say British Railways...
Yeah, it depends your interpretation of other celebrity engines, but I kind of think Signatura would only be the only one that would motivate the other engines to go out and seize your moment. Because if it was Flying Scotsman, perhaps he would be a bit more judgmental and be like, maybe not.
Because I've seen everything. I've gone to America, and it's yeah, But that didn't happen till much later. Oh, and yes, this part. To be honest,
I don't like it.
I know.
I don't like it.
It was at this point, I don't know. It's like Berkeley. It's like, Is it wrong for her to go or what? I feel bad for that detail now. I didn't think at all for your adaptation how a diesel engine would work much better. 'Cause, yeah, yours is way better. So
I think it's more like a. I mean, admittedly, I didn't think it was a diesel either, because I think it's more like at this moment we're just going with the characters that were already shown. So no
Yeah.
point in announcing a new diesel who does nothing apart from call out the bullshit.
yeah. So yeah, I kind of still regret that choice,
I think we have to risk it.
but
you two.
I don't know.
We can't continue down the main line during the day, and we can't wait for it to turn night again.
Ah, yes. Because I'm voicing Carl.
You what?
Yeah, what was it? The fireman's name? Carl.
Oh yes, that's right. Carl and
What was it? Jerry.
Jerry. Yes. Carl's the
He has no
fireman, and
face.
Jerry is the driver.
That was risky, Jerry.
Yeah, because originally Carl's voice was actually going to be a bit more. What was it? Deep voice American, is what I'll say.
No,
But
I didn't
then-
want them to be American.
Yeah, because when I think it was like I got this inspiration about something, and then when I recorded my lines, I sent them to you, and a few days later you were like, they were shit. Do them again.
Eliza, you be a dear and fetch my coaches, please. Eliza, wake up. I'll be late if my coaches aren't ready. Eliza, wake up.
She's gone.
Eliza, if you're on the main line again, you'll be in big trouble.
Mario, calm down. Mr. Stevens.
Oh, you for this scene, you did this for both my adaptation and for yours. So it's like, yeah, it is different. What am I saying? Because of this coming random diesel right here.
Morning. I've come to take over the shunting work here.
Yeah. Kind of weird in the wrong suit, but fuck it.
Well, I don't know. You had to improvise. How'd you get those human figures anyway? Because I've been used to those blocky ones.
She's your favorite
Yeah, because I think I found like 3D models of them on eBay. I just bought a bunch.
Yeah.
Where is she?
Again, I'm not proud with this detail here. I thought it'd be like,
Stitch.
yeah, I know.
I'll have to make several phone calls to
Nothing I can do about it. I mean, we live and learn. That's all there is, I guess.
The punishment she deserves, like 9401 did. Shunter.
Oh, and yeah, that was a connection right there because when you said he was going to make phone calls, that was like a connection for your special because after I saw your 1969 special, I was like, ooh, let me include that in there just at the last second. And there you go.
I can't believe you encouraged Eliza to leave. She hasn't
Yeah,
been
don't
out
make your
of
voice in
the
front of
house
your
in a
elders.
Thanks,
Respect
she
them.
could be lost.
Well, it's like one of
For
it's like one of those.
God's
She's my child, not yours.
Let's go and find her.
But
She
I'm the
needs to come
granddad.
to be safe.
Yeah,
True,
yes,
would say.
true.
Mario.
In a way, but you know, Eliza's not seen him as often.
I'm sorry I lied to you about Eliza. But
Such a shame, actually, that there was not much interaction with Truro and the Great Western Railway right here.
Mr. Stevens will eventually scrap her.
I mean, I like it because Truro in real life was actually withdrawn in the 30s
Oh,
before World
okay.
War II, and he came back into service like in the late 40s, but only did enthusiast specials.
So, I'm sorry to ask, but where is he now? Is he preserved?
Oh yeah, he is.
Okay, cool.
He's still owned by the National Railway Museum, but currently he's situated at, well, ironically, where he was built at Swindon Works, at the Museum of the Great Western Railway.
Well, that's nice that he's still around.
And now she's all alone.
Yep. Because, again, reflecting that same song from Into the Woods, it was like where after Rapunzel left the witch, it's like, I never want to see you again. But what's interesting is how in the musical version, Rapunzel was squished by the giant. And as it was a Disney film, they did not want to show that, so they just show her just running away with her prince.
Still they don't listen.
And plus, I like the reprisal here because it's like both for this and for the original movie Into the Woods, it just like has the witch reflecting a bit. It's like, what have I done? If I hadn't kept her in a box, she would not have left. Like, I should have been maybe more open to her, let her find her own path, kind of thing. So yeah.
I mean, in your version, it's a bit ambiguous of what happened to her.
Jerry, it is
I'm okay with how this was Nick who did this. I'm okay with how he did it, but originally in the script, they were looking at a map on the station wall, not like a pamphlet of some kind. But I get that if there was nothing like that in trains.
Where would we go from here?
But I don't understand why he chose a workman figure for the driver.
Probably just so you could tell the difference.
I
Though I
suppose.
have though I don't have trains, so I can't be able to say sure.
See what comes ahead.
We can't just go on blinded, Carl. We could get into trouble in Liz.
Oh god.
I hope you washed your hands. I don't know why I included that detail. I think it's just his way of saying, shut up and let me talk.
And that same engine is on the island of Sodor.
Either way, we can't move while it's daylight in case of getting caught. We'll wait until night, and then we'll set off.
It's kind of weird, really, because normally I don't really get that much of a thrill out of writing human scenes. I'm more like who only focuses on the train characters. But for some reason, I seemed very attached to writing Jerry and Carl scenes.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, not much human and engine interaction here, and I really wanted to kind of include that.
We'll be back as soon as the sun's gone.
And off they go to the local pub.
For the first time, Eliza could now think to herself alone. She looked around to her surroundings and saw the tracks were covered by weeds and grass. Trees towered over the station and the small yard where a few trucks were rusting away. She didn't want to admit it, but she was very scared of one thing more than rusting away and getting turned to
This is kind of complicated though, because when she said she was terrified of man, it's like, well, there are two types of human. There's the good, which is her crew, and then there's the kind that that would scrap her on the spot. So that was a bit of an error right there that I should have fixed. So sorry about that. But it does again reflect on the view of humanity of today. So yeah. I like how Nick did the transition here, so that was awesome. I'm glad he picked up the sounds of the fire cracking.
Is a distance away, but with little luck, we could make it. I'll just write the directions on the napkin.
Oh, they're outside now.
I don't know. There's not many, human sets on trains.
Yeah, because maybe this is what I had in mind, but yes, again, this would be a bit too hard to do in trains. But I always picture it like that. Maybe Carl and Jerry was looked at the map and they were making a very rough drawing on a napkin.
Yep.
Eliza.
Then we switched to Mickey's drawings.
Yes, we are.
During production, he actually made an error with the human characters because Carl has the ponytail and Jerry has the short hair. So when he first shared me the drawings, I was like, oh, you actually switched him up because, Carl is in the cab and Jerry is the one speaking. But he managed to fix it.
And here we are at Crew.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Mickey.
Yeah. I was fine with him having a cameo of his own OC in the background because I'm sure he has a story planned for him, for his story. I kind of like the funny interaction here with Carl and Rob, the engineer. How they're having some miscommunication here.
Meanwhile, some people will be distracted by the Great Western in the background. Be like, the Great Westerns won't scrap that Crew.
May Jerry and I talk about this inside the office?
I suppose so. Take your engine to the safe siding next to the building, driver.
We'll be right back, Eliza. If anything happens, just toot your whistle.
Penguin's drawings. I don't remember the rest of his username, but he's very good at that. Very good at the drawings.
Silhouette, which made Eliza feel a little uneasy. No one smiled or talked among each other. They just stood there, waiting for the end to come.
Had to include a bit of that stock footage just to kind of show the eerie side of things.
And now here's the big one.
Yes, boss.
I'll say this, to those who have been reading my stories, good for you, but, you know, just for a little teaser, there is a reason why Diesel 10 and Eliza had this first interaction here. So, you're gonna have to wait for the next story to come.
I'm going to the island of Sodor.
Darth Will 3 did a pretty good job as Diesel 10. I don't know if he was a temporary actor, because I think I had somebody else, or I don't remember.
I think it was like you were flip-flopping between Darth Will and Andrew.
Oh, yes, I think so.
I don't know, Pinchy's hungry.
But for the next story, I'm planning to have a different actor be Diesel 10 for going for the CGI voice I'm looking for.
Boss. You know you're not allowed to touch engines in that side.
Splodge.
What do you want, Splodge? It's Splatter. And Dodge. So.
I ain't got time to say both names. Now what do you mooks want?
I think that was improvised by him. Like, what do you mooks want?
Foreman's orders.
Yeah, Darth Will does have it. It does sometimes improvise some lines. He definitely has with a few of my videos.
Oh, yeah. And again, this kind of reflects on me how I have anxiety issues. Maybe like she's kind of suffering a panic attack. I don't think I've had a panic attack, but still have had very anxious thoughts in my lifetime.
I'm not going to believe this, but
we're going to Sodor.
This was a combined combined teamwork with Andrew and Diesel 20212, or Diesel All Rest, I should say. Sorry. But I really liked how he did the animation here.
Yeah, let's just say it was a good thing that when he was making this scene, he asked about the map, because originally he was following how it was in the road, or at least for a human to travel, because he went from like Crewe to London to Bridlington and then all the way to Blackpool.
So you talked to him about it or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that was cleared up. Yes.
Oh no, Lexi, what have they done?
And here's another connection to your special of 1969, right?
Yep. Originally, this was actually going to be a bit more dramatic, where it's like, Carl was like, "Don't leave without me," and chases after Eliza. But then, of course, that was a bit too hard to animate, so that was cut.
Mm-hmm. I remember that now. Well, I mean, if they want to see the original written drama, they are free to do so on my DeviantArt. But I'm thankful, though, that you did the map animation here, because, yes, I wanted to go for a bit of an Indiana Jones style, like, you know, as the journey goes on until they finally reach Bridlington. So, thanks for that.
Ah, there's Bridlington.
Mm-hmm.
Oi! You mind moving this? We're busy here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Does anyone know the way to Sodor?
Yeah, any big city, nobody really cares.
Yep.
These diesels won't help.
it's not like we don't know where we're going.
Well, we are on the eastern side of England, so we need to go west.
This part was a bit tricky because I wanted to show how busy it was with her navigating around. Kind of like similar to how Thomas in Journey Beyond Sodor was navigating across the points. But it worked. Yeah, that was voiced by Gio, I believe.
I'm really sorry. This place is new to me. But could you please tell me if you've heard of the island of Sodor?
Eesh. There's a reason why I improved the eye animation.
Well, I mean, it's like the same thing when I look back at my old sprite animations. I'd be like, oh god, I should have done better. But you're getting pretty good. Have you even showed that in any of your videos lately on your channel, in case people know what we're talking about?
Oh yeah, I've done an American Tail and this year's Christmas and
Right, yes.
Dark Knight for Bert.
Right. Now, how this is supposed to work, I mean, I know you can't obviously do it, but it's meant to be how Eliza is like still puffing ahead and then Hurricane comes up alongside her and they're still moving. So, as like you can't really do that, but it still kind of works. And reason why Hurricane is there is because just like in JBS, he mentions how he makes the delivery to Bridlington, so that's why he was coincidentally there.
Now we get to the big place.
Yep. There's a reason why I wanted Eliza to come to the Steelworks, and I'll explain that as soon as we get there. But I do want to say, another scene animated by Ricardo, so well done on that, thank you. I think this is one of those filler scenes because I've had an artist, oh yes, Shining Blue 40, I believe that was his username. Because, yeah, this is one of his drawings right here. He was assigned to that scene, and he was, like, silent and haven't responded to me for a long time. And by the time, like, we were nearly done with the production, with editing, he finally sent them in. I was like, oh, well, thanks. I'll incorporate them in anyway. But I needed someone to help fill in that scene, so that's why I went to Ricardo to help film the train scene. So, in a way, both of them are in it.
Hurricane moved.
I know, there's a bit of an error, but, you know, Shining Blue was assigned that scene first. So, it's fine. I've learned how to improve on what the direction for the scripts would be like for the artists in the future. Oh, yes, this is a really amazing animation by, I think the user's name changed, but they were called Dude on Twitter or something like that. But, yeah, that was another filler scene that I needed someone to help with, and so they showed me their art. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And when they sent it in, I never expected it was going to be animated. I was like, holy cow, this is so cool. Oh, and yes, the hottest place in town. The reason why, I wanted to include that song and why Eliza's at the Steelworks is because if you recall how in the original Journey Beyond Sodor, Hurricane and Frankie are trying to convince an engine to stay and do their work, and then they fail all the time as they either leave or just, like, escape. So I came up with the funny idea that for every time that a new engine is brought into their dominion, they would sing the song to make them feel welcome. But I shortened it this time just because, I don't want the audience to sit through the entire song, just like from the original movie. So I wanted to shorten it, just to be like, okay, we get it. Like, they've heard the song before, and let's get straight to the point kind of thing. But still, it was a very nice orchestration. And I gotta say thanks to Lion's Mane Orchestra and Fantastic Mr. S, because Scott, Fantastic Mr. S, has recommended me Lion's Mane Orchestra to recompose the song, and it's really great. It's like, definitely orchestrated, like very cinematic, and I really like it. So thank you. And there's an edit I did here coming up in which, like, I wanted to show, okay, their evil intention here, and that was, ooh, the glow of the firelight. Because it was just like in the movie when those lights shined on their faces, so I wanted to include that as well. And there you go. That was just one of my favorite scenes of this project here.
And now, wake up call. Give me a deja vu.
Well, like I said, it probably did this to every engine who like, showed up. Like, if you recall in the TCC episode, like, Diesel's journey beyond Sodor was the same thing. He went to the steelworks, then he was shunted to start work.
You're too kind.
Eliza, why did they shunt you here?
Oh, yes. This scene was filmed by Mickey when he was just getting used to his trains program. Notice how, like, he edited the hair on the human figures to show the difference between, like, Carl and Jerry. So I like that. So it was nicely done. And I did include that I did not include that montage, just like what Thomas did in JBS, because I figured that would take too long and just cut right to the point.
In the summer, your cab is like a furnace, Eliza.
Yeah, I can't imagine what, like, drivers and firemen of today are dealing with in the summer. Like, I can't imagine that, because I know it's going to be hot work.
My name is Eliza.
And of course, just like the diesel one, more fuel means more work.
Yes. I had to include that, I guess, in a way. I guess when I was writing this script, there was a lot of dialogue reference, but I've improved more on that now to include some originality, so yeah.
Wait! I have been working hard all morning. You can't keep me here.
Hey, what's the big idea?
No one told you to stop shunting. Now get back to work.
Open this gate right now, or we're ramming it down.
I like how you delivered this line, Adam, right there. Like, shows how... Yeah, oh, I forgot to mention the personalities, but I'll get to that in a bit. But yes, that line right there that you did, Adam, that was really good. I wanted to, like, show a different side of her crew. One that is more level-headed, and one that was, like, I wouldn't say a brute, but just, like, really jumping into things. So Carl is, like, kind of the one jumping into things, and Jerry is the one who's the smart, level-headed one. In a way, it's kind of almost like, her left brain and right brain in a way. You know what I mean? Like, the one that is, like, the smarts, and the one that's just, like, the creative side. Oh, God, why didn't I not notice this? Oh, and yes, the introduction of 16.
Yeah, because I think this was like I suggested about this, because
I think you did.
It was referenced that he worked in the steelworks foundry in the books.
Well, it does work in a way.
Yeah.
It's a real shame that, they couldn't show him in JBS. I don't know. But still, people who do fan works, like, incorporate that in.
Because one day I did pass the sign. I tripped over the rails and fell down.
Oh dear, cab over wheels.
Well, had to include that.
I was placed here out of the way until I received new parts to fix me up. But that was many years ago. Frankie came to replace me because the manager had to sell some engines for being too expensive to
I mean,
run.
it's kind of funny though on how and where 16 is positioned. Like, he's like sort of in the, or at least how I pictured it, that he was supposed to be like in the corner, tucked away.
Yeah.
But with how this is like or drawn out, it's like he's in the dead center, so he just witnesses all the engines puff around him singing. And he's like,
Well,
oh god, not this again.
Again, I probably did not give as much direction in the art description of the scene, but it's okay. But yes, he was meant to be in a corner. But I did not want Mickey to go through the struggle of redrawing it all.
Thank you. Why don't you come with me to Sodor? It's the least I can do to repay you.
No.
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to be a main character.
If our engines are trapped here too.
Oh, and yes, the music is also from Undertale.
Come on, Eliza. You better go before they get back.
And this one was a big one.
Yeah.
This one, we actually made a little storyboard of how the chase scene was going to be like.
Yes, I believe storyboarded through your videos before this is the final draft right here.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Carl,
Yeah.
Because
could you?
I planned maybe to try and do storyboards first for the artists for the next few stories, perhaps, just to kind of give them an idea. More like just some specific areas, but we'll see. The thing that sucks, though, is that I do not have Sony Vegas or like any of those professional
wrong direction.
movie programs, because I only have iMovie, and I don't have it in my budget right now to get a professional movie editing program. So I had no idea what the visuals were like when I was doing the audio editing, because that was straight from Audacity. And it was at this point of the story that the crew was actually making a struggle, because according to what I read, it would be like Carl is like, forwards, go forwards, and he just like pushes the regulator and then knocks Jerry to the ground, in which, yeah, she does go forward, and Jerry is like, don't hit me again. But, again, we did not have it in the budget to show human animation like that, so we had to delete it.
We're boxed in.
But I like how this coming part plays out. However, in both of our adaptations, there is a difference. Like, mine shows how the truck breaks apart, just by the... yeah. And yours was probably knocking it off to the side, I think. I forgot to mention, there's something funny that I wanted to use, well, rather like just kind of showing the personality in this with Hurricane and Frankie. They're kind of like, the Yzma and Kronk from Emperor's New Groove in a way. So that's like why Frankie was like, don't just stand there, you idiot! That kind of thing.
Yeah, well, thankfully that she didn't, go into the wrong side in.
Yeah, reason why that was like that is because once they found the error of how Eliza made the escape, it's like, okay, we're gonna prevent anyone escaping by switching the points. Thus is why Thomas derailed that time. Because like for every time an engine would escape, they would figure out the problem and then like deal with it. That's like why they had to put the lock on the gate, and then that's why they switched the points so that the next engine would derail.
After what we've been through so far, I don't think I would be a scaredy engine as easily.
Huh. Diesels, factories, nothing can stop you.
Then I can do this. I'll make it to Sodor in no time.
Yep, and now she's, well, somewhere on the LNR territory.
So,
Mm-hmm.
which way now?
And of course, for those who know this location,
Oh, well, what?
I think this was like loosely inspired by the entrance to the, was it the scrapyard where Theo, Lexi, and Merlin hung
Oh, you mean the yard where the experimental engines were? I actually did not know that. I thought it was just some random junction.
That's a pretty name. What are you doing up here? Great Western engines.
Ah, yes, Naval, or Royal Naval Reserve is the real full name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yilin does a very good voice for her, like, soft and caring, because I wanted to include a diesel that was nice. Because actually, interesting fact with this scene here is how, after what Eliza has been through, she would of course feel hesitant about, like, any diesel, because she's like, do I trust her or what? But then, like, once she showed her kind side, that's when Eliza would finally break the ice and be like, do the introductions.
You're not going to tell anyone about me, are
Also forgot to mention a while back that when Eliza was first introduced to Hurricane, like, she was like a little intimidated just by the size he is, because she's never seen a tank engine that huge. But, she trusted him right away because, like, okay, you're a tank engine, I'm a tank engine, let's go! And, yeah, that's why she willingly followed him to the steelworks. But, yeah, with her and Naval here, that's like when she changed her view and be like, okay, looks like not all diesels are bad.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Great. Just wait here. I'll be right back.
Oh dear. Your dads are not happy about that. Or at least one of them isn't.
They're guardians, I guess.
What if she backstabs us? leaves you rusting on the siding while me and Carl are arrested for trespassing and stealing railway transport.
Jerry, I know you're frightened about losing me, but we've been traveling around in circles. Just as things go up,
This is like one of those last resort things. Like, we've no choice.
luck helps us to get a little further. We need to take this chance. If it's the only way I can be safe and see Peter again.
I'm sorry. I just hope this doesn't turn out bad.
Jerry.
No, it's still a sweet moment, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it can happen to anyone to be like, you know, after what they've been through, be like, do you think we'll trust somebody again, kind of thing. And then once they give them their side, to be like, you know what, I guess you're right. Like, we have no other choice.
My God, she's tiny.
I know. The sprite designs are kind of different. But this was by Luca Dollar, and he probably didn't realize how he could have changed the size on MS Paint or Photoshop or something like that. I mean, I did it on my side for a coming scene, but it's fine that he couldn't do it. Like, yeah.
With the help from D812, she
Yeah.
places the crowded station
One thing about Royal Naval is that she's kind of incorrect, considering that all the warships worked at the lower south of the Great Western, literally touching Southern Railway. So seeing one all the way up north, well, that's a bit questionable. But yes, again, that's kind of my fault, because I gave you like a selection of diesel engines to choose, and I suppose you wanted like the big one, which was her.
Yeah. Also, like, you know, when she sees her as a warship, you're just like, you know, that diesel with a claw, you know? So that's like why another thing why she would be hesitant at first and then realize, okay, not all of them are bad.
Here we are, at the harbour.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't stay long. Well, I have to take another goods train soon.
That's alright, D812. You've done enough by getting me this far, so I thank you for your kindness.
It was nothing. I wish you the best of luck to your new home on Sodor.
So, what do we do first?
I suppose we got to find the harbour master and make up a reason why Eliza is heading to Sodor.
But where are we going to find him? This harbor is pretty big.
We'll have to split.
Yeah, that entire shot had to be rebuilt from scratch, and I had to look at back at the footage and be like, okay, this truck goes there, that truck goes there. Because most of the shots were quite easy to do, where it was like up close, so I didn't have to do much things with the background. But then they did like a wide shot, and I was like, oh no.
What's this engine doing here? Someone move it out the way, please.
Oh, no. I was sent here to work, from the island of Sodor.
Well, you're not in my papers, miss. Which doesn't look good for you.
Wait, but I...
Sir, I found this in your office and thought it was important.
Ooh, how convenient.
Well, you know, it's like one of those last minute, let's improvise kind of moments.
Send her on her way to Sodor, on the SS Sodor line.
Phew, that was too close.
Oh, and another combined team effort here with Andrew and Ben.
But I don't think he fully bought it. He's most likely going to make some calls to confirm the order. Which means we have to get you onto that ship before they find out.
But where's Carl?
There he is. Funny that both me and Andrew both used Carly.
Yeah.
And there she is in the hole.
We've had a good run, the three of us.
It's kind of funny that, like, you're not 100% in law with Audrey's notes, but apparently, in what he wrote in his books, is that Thomas's driving fireman actually migrated to the island of Sodor. So it's kind of funny that Eliza's driver firemen are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Because who else would drive her?
No people? And off he goes.
Yay, the final stretch.
I remember there was like a cut line of dialogue here, which was a little bit too, tongue-on-cheek, you could say. But it was like Carl was looking at the out of the boat and was like, "Huh, who knew that tugboat for its size was a more powerful craft afloat?"
That was just a silly reference
Yeah.
joke.
And here we are.
Yay.
Evening, Cranky.
Hello, Percy. Why did you have to pick up your mail at this time of day? It's not even morning yet.
Well, your government says I have to do all the mail runs, or people won't get their mail in the morning. Otherwise, that'll be another thing to add to your lifting list during the busy hours.
Yeah, good point.
Meanwhile, here's me. I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks of what I originally wrote in my script. Yeah, lots of old cringe.
Peter!
Jesus. Why are you just floating?
Well, the train's program doesn't have those harnesses or something.
You don't know how long I have been searching for you. I missed you, little brother.
Wait, you two are siblings?
Well, yes.
Really? What? What gave that away?
What about me, Peter?
Oh,
It's alright. I forgive you.
well, it's so great to see you again. I was just about to do my mail delivery. Want to help out?
You bet. Helping you. Just like old times.
Just like old times, all right. Oh, and by the way, I got a new name ever since I came to Sodor. I'm now called Percy.
Percy, huh? I like it. It's small and cute, like you are, Peter. I mean, Percy.
Oh, that's gonna take some time to get used to, right?
That was improvised by Nate right there.
Percy.
Yes, I know that the text on her boiler is wrong is because, when this person submitted the art, it's like they're facing the wrong way because I had to keep it right with how Nick's scene played out. But the final song, here we go.
You were prepared to do your best, had what it takes to pass the test. All those doubts you can dismiss. Turns out you were prepared for this. You clearly had just what it takes to journey on at such high stakes. I knew for sure you would prevail. Since when does my sister ever fail? All those doubts that you can dismiss. Trust yourself
Because
and you cannot.
I would say it's all very touching to see them finally reunited. Because what's it been like? Like 13, about almost 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's nice to see them finally reunite.
Oh, yeah.
After so long.
But it's not
And
over
now
yet.
to start a new life, you could say.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love how I did the final shot here because I had to include a shot that just shows, okay, they're puffing off into the night. So, yeah. Okay, that was the original of Liz's journey. The beginning. But yeah, 4 years of production, and gosh, that's, well, this story actually was way before, the coming next one. But yeah, I wanted to include, a backstory before she came to Sodor because I'm sure people would question why she just suddenly appeared out of nowhere right here, So that's why I had to do this story before we do the next one. Because it would just be weird if I just started off with a new life and then, much later on, the beginning would happen. So I wanted to do it kind of chronologically.
And of course, congrats to all the voice actors who took part.
Yes, I want to thank all of the cast and the artists and crew for like sending in their artwork and their voice lines, because everybody did such a good job. Really thank you for this. And thank you all for your patience during the production, because again, I'm hoping that there won't be a huge delay, but really depends. I'm hoping that when we get to the next story, which is Liz's Journey in New Life, that we'll try and maybe have a release for this summer or fall, because this year marks 10 years since she was first introduced to DeviantArt as just a picture of her from a friend of mine. It was way before I was starting to get into the sprite making art, trying to say. But I also want to thank you, Adam, for helping me out with the story, because again, I had like not as much experience with the history of, the British railways and stuff. So thank you for that.
Of course, anytime.
Because, I'm mostly like into the storytelling of things. That's just my strong suit. Like for historical stuff, that's a lot of studying. So I'm just glad I have friends like you and others to back me up for that kind of stuff. And if you can't tell with the background here, this is made to represent like gold dust for whatever is to come. Then I had to put a disclaimer for the characters, so yeah. And for those who have stuck around long enough to see this with the project, you'll notice there is an end credit scene, which was filmed by a good friend, Major Engine Studios. And I gotta thank him for that. This is a preview of what's to come. Till next time. And that was the original.
4 years of hard work, and all surely paid off. And here we are with mine.
Yes, Adam's Adaptation. It's kind of a shame that, well, I don't know if I should say a shame, but his was before mine, because mine was still in production. And
yeah. A bit like, well, how would you say it? Like, a bit too overexcited, as well as like, at the time, I kind of wanted it to be like, in preparation of season 3, which has been delayed twice. So, yeah.
I don't want you two to get into trouble.
Not the best, but, well, what can you do?
Yeah.
So, this is one of the first differences. Well, my one starts completely in the middle of the story, rather than in the very beginning.
Yes.
So, reason for that is because I do plan to make the origins to Eliza and Peter in a separate story. Because I kind of have an idea that it would be that I would make like little origin stories of like each character, similar to like Thomas 1, Henry 2, Henry 3 did it.
Right, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes style.
Like they don't
Yeah.
seem to respect some of us steam engines anymore.
So,
Even our own managers
more or less what I thought was like, what I can do is show Eliza and Peter's early life, and then they move to Oxford, and that's and everything else you know the rest of the story.
Oh, I'm sure I saw it before, but yes, in this version right here, right now, Meryl is green.
Yep. This is where I stick a bit, well, very close to real life accuracy. So
Yes.
she's in Great Western Brunswick green. And here's a place how you rarely see. This is over the river into Oxford Yards.
So yeah, like I said, this is Adam's Adaptation, so he has details that are different from mine, both like, historically accurate and also connecting to his existing series.
Wait a second, 1347. You're needed at Didcot to handle the coal train that's about to arrive.
And then this was one that was
Sorry, Peter.
that wasn't touched upon mainly because it wasn't really important. But in real life, Oxford is actually it did have two stations, one for the Great Western, which was a through station, and one for the LMS, which was a terminus station. But they never merged lines, ever, because it was like, you keep to your side of the fence, we stick to our side of the fence. So this may have been a little bit inaccurate, per se, where a Great Western shunter would shunt for the LMS region, but I kind of wanted to show off a reason why Percy was sent away.
Yes, that was an error on my side. I mean, I actually had no idea how Percy would get into trouble, but and in order to be sent away on my original story. So at least Adam kind of covers that a bit. I mean, I still have no idea how I would have done it on my end.
It's a bit of an error. That you can see that 4F has a Great Western a British Railway quest on it.
I'm not a caterpillar.
And now, this is how we, fuck things up.
In a way, I like how you did this accident because it would reference on what's to come for him on Sodor, you know? Because this is, the first time he's taken a plunge.
Yeah, because for the LMS one, their embankment was a lot more lower, so they needed like a swing bridge for like canal boats and anything to cross by. And there's one of the jobs that you don't see Eliza doing the coal hopper.
Mm-hmm.
Peter? What happened? Did you get into trouble?
I'm being sold.
What? But, well,
Oh
why?
yeah, for the time that I did the recording on my original story, I should say my own adaptation, I should say that. But when I was doing my recordings, Adam asked me to send those over just so I won't have to re-record them. However, he did give me some lines that I had to record that wasn't part of the original script.
Whereas I'm the klutz of the railway.
So some of the lines you would hear, some were pretty similar to my adaptation, or there were some that were just different takes. But most of them was from the same recording.
I could come visit you on this new railway. I'm sure it won't be far.
Actually, I don't know where I've been sold. Mr. Stevens is thinking about where to drop me off. I'm being put on the flatbed and taken
Yeah, I
away
mean,
tomorrow
this is kind of like one of the rare things where you see Percy, or hell, any of my characters genuinely upset. Because most of the time they're like, well, they take place in modern day, which means they're used to certain things. But being as this is like they were still young, or at least 30 years old at this point, they were still like young, they didn't go through this emotional trauma at first, so it makes sense that they had to become...
They're kind of soft, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Makes me feel a little better.
And it's one of the biggest changes. So this time he doesn't wake up.
This, Peter. Even though we'll be far apart.
Who doesn't wake up?
Percy, or Peter. Because originally it was like, you can't sleep, Peter? No,
right.
I can't. Oh yes, originally that was shit. At least in the trailer, that looked like garbage, so I had to go back and fix it.
With the stars background,
Yeah.
you're saying? Yeah.
Good night, Eliza. Love you.
Love you too, little bro.
And then next morning,
I'll always be with you.
He gone. Or rather, no, somebody's in his place.
yeah, that's just Joseph in back.
Peter, are you there?
Or at least one of his
Oh.
brothers.
Where are you?
So Percy was sleeping in front of that engine.
Yeah. Normally in those sorts of ancient sheds, they were more like put into lines, and whichever engine was closest to the door, they would be the first ones to get out.
Okay.
At least in railway practice.
Yeah.
What? He left?
Oh yes, and And he was like, "Can I please use his lines?" And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, go ahead."
Yes. Yeah, you asked me that, and I was like, okay, here you go. Because, yeah, it was during your production that he went on hiatus.
You are my star shunter, and
I
you're
think
the reason the schedules are
he
moving
did only one
smoothly.
take for all the lines. He didn't do different takes, so it's pretty much an exact copy of what you're listening to.
Eliza, dear, your brother really did want to see you before he left. But like Mr. Stevens said, he sent him off the first chance he could. I told you that we can't all agree with some things. I too liked Peter being here with us.
Ah, yeah, so...
Want to collect my coaches for me? Maybe that'll change.
That's the... Oh yeah, the fucking... I still haven't perfected the art of tears yet.
Well, I can give you a tip on the coloring aspect of it. On the cues similar to the TV series. That was awesome.
If I choose you, will you work hard? Oh, yes, sir. Please, sir.
And we're going to see a bunch of cameos here, for those who know my series and future characters.
Mm-hmm.
But sir, you already have a name. I have spoken.
That won't be until later. Shish. But okay.
You've got to be kidding me.
I'm really sorry, sir, but
nothing. I ordered you 9401 to take.
And yeah, it's this adaptation that they call him Joseph. However, Mr. Stevens still calls him the engines by numbers, not names.
I'm going to have to find a replacement as soon as possible. 1347. Push 9401 here back to the sheds for repairs.
Yeah, back to the sheds. Well, knowing this, I could have just used Oxford Shed right next to the station, but I wanted to still have continuity. So now Eliza was pushing poor Joseph about 3 miles.
She can manage. They're kind of the same size anyway.
Your cylinder, huh? What caused
And
that?
of course, there's old slow coach.
I'm quite old, and I'm falling apart from not being treated properly. You see, Mr. Stevens didn't have the money to get me better parts back then. But this...
Oh yeah, that reminds me. We both turned to Nate to do Joseph because I think there was one other person before Nate that was assigned to Joseph, but there was some complications, and so he had to be removed.
The train is the one that's closest to the station. Right here at
So I feel bad for Nate for my adaptation because he did Joseph and Percy and Berkeley, and I think there was another one. No, it was just those 3. Yeah, he was a good sport for filling in temporary roles, but yeah.
9401. I found a replacement to take your train.
Oh, there's no need, sir. 1347 took it.
What?
Well,
So, this is where it gets a bit different. A bit of spoilers, but fuck it. Because
was never meant to leave this yard.
Joseph
Ever.
isn't exactly going to be withdrawn right here, right now.
In the next half hour.
It's more like, this is just Mr. Stevens being very pissed off, and it's more like he refuses to repair him, but he will repair him in the future when he sells Joseph to the Leaky Incline.
Hope you enjoy the rest of your days in the
Or rather, like, it could be one of those, I will deal with it, but then maybe he was shunted to the back and forgotten, that kind of thing. It's like, what was I supposed to do again? Fuck it.
Yeah. And here's a big one. Now you get to see where Oliver used to work. So this is called the Fairford branch line, which was quite literally right outside of Oxford, so Eliza didn't have that far to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to include the interaction here.
Hello? I don't think I've seen
There's the old man.
Well, it's my first train, actually.
Really? Where have you been?
In the
So,
I like how you did the expression there.
Well, what's stopping you?
Yeah, because
It says I'm his star
I think this like called what was it, or Whitey Station, like that, and it's basically the middle station of the branch line that does the good stop.
prove I can do more.
True that, but you shouldn't disobey the manager's commands. I'm sure your time will come. Well, I suppose I'll be seeing you around 1347.
Actually, I'm called Eliza.
I'm Oliver. Farewell.
Till next time.
When I told
dear.
you to stay in the yard, I said stay!
Sir,
Don't interrupt me! You are one of
Yeah,
my
again, Callum did
engines.
such a great job.
You're supposed to be loyal, hardworking, and honest with me, but you disobeyed my order, taking a train out of the yard. Thanks to your stubbornness, Meryl had to shunt the important train to the station herself, as she was the only engine around. Meryl has no experience with shunting, which is why I rely on you to do the task. If I ever catch you pulling a stunt like that again, 1, 3, 4, 7, you are done!
Done?
Casted for scrap. I already had plans to send 9401 to the smelter's yard first thing next morning because of his broken parts. Do you want to be replaced next?
Ooh, I like that. How you showed, a diesel that was passing by.
Don't let me catch or hear of you taking a train out of the yard or even thinking of leaving at all. You are needed here, for you're one of the reasons I've made enough dough for these past
It
few
sounded
years.
American now that I think about it. Because you guys don't say that, do you?
Well, not commonly dough or bucks, but at the top of my head, I can't think of what we would call money, apart from like quid.
Yeah.
Ah,
I guess
yes,
it kind of worked.
Oh, yes, and here's the first song, which, let's just say, wasn't really the most popular with people when they heard it.
Oh yes, I remember as your adaptation was the first to be premiered. I remember the comments of people saying, "Why are there songs?"
Yeah. Well,
they were just not used to it on your channel. That's what it was.
Perhaps, but I think also the problem was like this song. It isn't exactly a good starter song for the entire musical, because it's sort of like just jumps you in and be like, wait, you're singing now?
But yeah, like during the live premiere, I'm trying to say, I remember seeing the comments of people saying, "Why are they singing? Why are they singing? I don't like it. Skip ahead." Be like, come on, guys, you should appreciate musicals. I don't know, but this is my story, adapted by Adam.
And once again, so this was also when you got to see Meryl in blue. Of course, this is something I didn't bring up last time, or in the other version, because it wasn't really important. But since I'm going with real-life accuracy, none of the Great Western castles were ever painted in BR blue, only the kings were.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that Meryl was just more or less the special one who got to be blue and keep it.
Yeah. But again, like I said with my adaptation, I made her blue to reference, the witch from Into the Woods.
Yeah, another thing that's kind of a mistake on, both our versions, mainly because I didn't realise it at the time, but on a certain camera angle you can see the carriage shed in the background. Apparently those were only built when the Heritage Railway was formed in something like 1964, and they built it in the 70s. So really all this should just be like the turntable, and then that's it.
Well, I never really noticed the historical accuracy in this. But I get if there are some who were pretty serious about it.
Yeah. Oh, there's sheds.
Oh, the sheds?
Yep.
Again, I'm not bothered.
And of course, yeah. So, Eliza, your brother's dead. Feel sad about it.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that when we were watching mine. Yeah, I put a lot of emotion in here that during recording, I really did leak tears. Because, when you're really into, an emotional scene like that, sometimes, you're really into it. I wasn't really feeling sad, but, when I'm really into it, the tears come, I guess.
And here we are.
Years later, with Truro and Barkley. I think that's how you pronounce it now.
Yeah.
Right?
Go. It's tomato, because it's like, in a British words, it's Berkeley, but in American, it's Barkley.
And your voice actor for Truro is actually pretty good. Because,
Top warrior, he was.
Yeah, you mentioned that he went for like a Hercules type of voice from Tugs.
Yeah, because I more or less was aiming towards a Hercules type of character for Truro, because if any character was going to have the personality of Hercules, it would be Truro.
Yeah, I kind of see that. Although I don't know if I don't know if I was used to it or at first, but I'm flattered kind of when I hear it now. How when he's like saying like, you know, oh, it's nice to meet you, Medea, and all that stuff. Who says that?
Oh, Goodrich Castle. Well, the idea doesn't know everything. Well, she told you.
And that little smug look.
The world is a dangerous place, and I would be scrapped if I left these yards, like my brother.
I think you had an error in your writing because, yeah, about the bean world a dangerous place. You had something wrong with your script, and he didn't fix it.
Yeah. Kind of problem when you are adapting something, because when you skim over it, you think, oh yes, this seems alright. But then when you actually realise people say the lines, it's like, oh crap. Well, I come back out. That's why I'm just too lazy to, ask people to re-record that line.
Well, sometimes, like, yeah, if they're missing a line, you have to go to them. Like, I recently just went to somebody who forgot a line for the next story, and they're like, okay, yeah, no problem, I'll do it, even though it was just one line.
Oh, thank you for telling me, Mr. City of Truro, sir. I must go to Sodor right away.
Whoa, slow down there, little one. You'll never be able to get to Sodor without clearance from British Railway.
Maybe not, but you could sneak through.
There he is.
Did Nate do... This is the same recording Nate sent over to me, right? Right?
Like, I think it was like some like half of them. Like, maybe he did a mixture.
Okay.
And of course...
Oh, and yes, they talk about Oliver. It's like, oh yes, I remember him. I remember that engine.
Do that too, Eliza, and see your brother again.
But what about Meryl? She would freak if she found out I was escaping. And besides, she keeps a close watch on me, even when I sleep.
Yep, again, overprotective mom.
But what about the diesels who will take and scrap me? And what if I get lost?
This reflects on me when, again, I have self-doubt or anxious thoughts, so... Yeah, it is, and it's like, why, like, I wanted to include Truro and like, being the mentor figure to give her the confidence, like, again. So, yeah.
You just need to go for it sometimes and jump into the unknown. Unless you prefer to stay here and shunt, not exploring new places and things, and most importantly, not seeing your brother again.
And yeah, here's where it gets interesting.
So those who would notice the diesel from 1964.
Station master's orders. I'm here
So
to
that's...
load you in a train there.
Well, his full name is a mystery, but I nickname him Weston. And he's basically a BR Class 52, which were kind of upgraded models of the warships.
The way he said toodaloo, just like Hercules. Now, I would not have done this for my adaptation, but I guess you wanted to do things differently, but yeah.
There's Lady.
Yeah, Lady was in the background.
Yeah, I didn't know entirely how to make
I'm sorry,
Percy's whistle an echo, so I
yeah,
just...
kind of like, something drifting in the wind kind of effect. That's what I did. So, sorry about that.
Yes, they're all sleeping, somehow.
Again, it's like that kind of inner monologue type of song, I guess.
You're not a voice. You're just a ringing in my mind. And if I heard you, which I don't, and spoken for I fear. Everyone I've ever loved
So,
here within these walls.
obviously the big difference from this is that she's actually awake for this, so it's not like intern monologue or like a dream. This time she just woke up, expressed how she was feeling, went back to sleep, and then she woke up again.
Well, in this adaptation, you don't include her crew at all, right?
Oh no, humans don't exist. At least that's the running joke.
The trains run freely, kind of thing. So, yes. But anyway, I can see why she would, like, get out of her shed and wander around. It's kind of like those pacing, like, while thinking heavily kind of nighters.
And then you can see the diesel in the corner.
I wouldn't have noticed it right away, because the focus was on Liz. Again, I'm so happy how my vocals for this turned out so good. Because I remember doing take after take of trying to get those high notes right. And it turned out so good in the end. Oh, just like mine, you did a mirage of him instead of like Steam Cloud or whatever. So it worked out.
Yeah, the Steam Cloud thing never was going to happen. Because I didn't want like Peter to be appearing like static and then just smile. So I just thought, well, if Lady was like puffing away and disappeared, maybe she'd create an illusion like that.
Oh, that would have been interesting. Because, yeah, it would explain why she suddenly just showed up in the background right there. That would have been a nice addition.
And of course, Jessica Elsa has to sing at the highest point on the embankment.
Will you pipe down? We're trying to sleep.
Oh well, time to bed. Time to get back to bed.
It's like, okay, I'm too exhausted to think. I'm going back to sleep kind of thing. That's what it looks like to me.
Eliza, wake up, my dear.
Yeah, that's another change, how instead of her crew firing her up, the mentors are just waking her.
What do you two want this late?
Me and Drew have been thinking you should really escape to Sodor and reunite with your brother.
Yep, and this time he's supportive.
Yes, again, I like your version of this, and I don't like what I did with mine.
Eliza, dear,
Go ahead. Listen to your granddads. Run. Be free.
Well, that's what grandparents are for. They're supportive of you, whatever you do.
The truth is, sweetheart.
Though it is funny though, because it's like, I think from when True was built, Eliza would be 3 years older than he, and Earl of Berkeley was built in the 30s. But once again, same issue with the Meryl thing, age complicated.
Exactly. Yep. It's complicated with the age of all the trains in the Thomas universe. Heck, I mean, what? Like somebody just, the Unlucky Tug just did a video about like changing the basis of engines, and Hero was among one of them, and he was actually, his basis was actually younger than how it's intended to be,
Sodor?
It is called the Northwestern Railway, my dear.
Right. I best turn away then.
How the hell did she turn like that?
Well, there is a turntable at the back, which more or less
it was difficult to see.
Yeah. It's more or less I tried to make it ambiguous or not to cut too much of the story where it's like it shows her leaving the shed at the back, turn around, and then reverse back out. But it's more like she's just very lucky that no one was sleeping right behind her.
And yeah, it's this shot right here. That's where it totally changed my perspective on the story. Because after I saw yours, I was like, oh crap, why didn't I think of this?
I need to take baby
Of course, with no Carl or Jerry, she has to talk to herself loudly.
Yep.
But it can be done.
Well, hey, I mean, it's pretty much human for us to think to ourselves, talk out loud on what we do with ourselves when no one's around. I do that sometimes. He'd be like, where's my book? Where's my keys? Ah, there they are, that kind of stuff.
And off she goes.
Yippee!
And
by the way,
this is where the difference was. Oh, yeah?
I just want to quickly mention, very good music choice right there. What was it from?
I'll hide there.
I'll probably have to re-look at it, but it was like...
Don't worry, Peter. I'm coming.
I definitely would have to re-look at it. Jesus Christ. We'll get back to that.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, you wanted to mention this change here.
So, the... what was it? Oh, yeah. The music, I completely went completely different from my normal projects, and I researched a lot of Celtic music to make it more like harmonic and adventurous.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was some sort of fantasy element in there.
Eliza, if you're on the main line again, you'll be in big trouble.
What was that?
Meryl, darling,
She's
calm down.
gone.
Mr. Stevens sent their little miss to the works, just outside Didcot. After all, she is the best hunter.
That was funny how he just tried clearing his throat there.
Morning. I'm here to.
Oh yeah, here's another difference.
Hello, Sydney.
Sydney is the diesel.
Something important.
It's kind of funny though, because it's like, it kind of says something about most industries. It's like sometimes they replace the useful worker with a rubbish machine, but in this case you've replaced a very good, reliable shunter with one who constantly forgets everything.
And why would I do that? I would have replaced her years ago. Now, where is she?
Bit of spoilers, of course, but Meryl in my version does still exist, even though the real locomotive is dead. So, I just kind of like have this mini story in mind where Meryl and Sydney would interact every now and then.
Oh yeah, the expressions on them. But yes, yeah, it was this point. It's like, oh, why didn't I think of this? With Western being the snitch.
And of course, Earl of Berkeley. Favourite expression I made. You fucking stitch.
I must go and find her. She needs to come back.
But yes, to those who do not follow Adam's series, he's going to extend Meryl's story because from all the questions people have been asking, I am not as interested or motivated to continue her story. So Adam is going to do that. So you'll have to follow him to see where she goes from there. Like in my version, it was be like, okay, she's left behind alone to think on what she did with boxing Eliza and all that stuff. So, yes.
City of Truro, yours and Earl of Barclay's train is ready to leave soon. Your visitors are waiting at the platform.
Goodbye, good Richard dear.
I saw a comment that he got the name right when he said the recording.
Yeah. Like I say, it's mainly tomato. The correct British one is Berkeley, but in American it's Barclay.
The way how I saw it, it looked like Berkeley to me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And they're off.
Off they go.
Do you plan on having those two characters back in your series again sometime in another special or something?
Apart from when they met up again. Apart from when they met up again to do their enthusiast train, I don't think they would. Mainly because I stick to the real life trains. So if they never met each other in preservation, then they probably won't.
Oh well. Well, that's the only time we'll see them in your series, but it's still nice models.
Young ones can only grow from something you love.
I was once again alone, left with 2 diesels now. This is where it gets a bit different, because realistically, Didcot, the Ancient Shed, was actually part of a preservation society since 1964. So I would say that Meryl was luckily preserved in 64, which is the reason why she's at the sheds. But the workmen weren't able to buy or legally buy Eliza, so they lived on the hold, hoping to buy her one day, and then 5 years later she disappeared, and they were like, well, shame.
Have you heard the news?
But yeah, here's where things get pretty different in Adam's adaptation, and I'm not too bothered because it's rather a nice, interesting take on things.
I was sleeping there for the night.
Yeah.
Niffed, really.
but he's revealing a lot of context about his DJD team and all that stuff. So you guys have to follow his series to see how that goes.
Yeah, the DJD thing is more like just so people would link in from the last one, 1964, and would question why is he now alone now.
Mm-hmm. Do you plan to include a story on, the events that he's talking about right now?
Oh yeah, in the far future.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'd be interested to see how this fight goes down.
So, apart from all that, not in the abandoned station, she's actually in a station that still would have still been occupied for the Great Western. So, she's just mainly lucky that she was in the sidings and covered herself in tarpaulin, which... Oh dear.
What?
Oh dear, the tarpaulin. We'll get to that one.
Oh, I think I know where this is going, where they keep falling off.
Not exactly fall off, but we'll
get
to it.
Yeah, as soon as we get there.
But yeah, I at least reused this diesel, because I was like, well, I reused it for Sydney, so I might as well just reuse the exact same model as a different diesel shunter.
I forgot to mention that Brandon and Tyler Hildebrand were doing the voices here, and they were doing a very good job. Alright, here's the tarp thing, so what's up?
Oh, for fuck's sake, look at it. It's stupid. Oh my god.
What? Yeah, did you consider on using tissues or something?
Well, I'll try to find actual tarpaulin or something that looks like tarpaulin in the future, but that just... Oh god, it's horrendous. I think what I originally was trying to go for was that it would cover her top of her, as well as
expose her wheels, right?
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
It would show the Great Western on the boiler, which is the reason why they would send her on the scrap line, coincidentally sending her to crew. Which, speaking of which...
Yeah.
Yep. Crew, very much a very big place. Because... And speaking of which big things, there's Diesel.
Voiced by Darth Will 3. He has a very good natural voice for Diesel, voiced in many projects over the years for people, and he does have a very good Diesel voice.
So, Crew when it first was making steam engines was the biggest steam engine spot. Then it made a few diesels, but it was mainly a scrapyard for getting rid of their old diesel stock.
Ooh, so, I mean, it's probably not at the time right now, but eventually, they're pretty much standing in their graveyard, you know?
Yeah.
Marvelous. More work.
Of course, there's Ari and Bert. They're privately owned by a different scrapyard, and as they announced that they've just been full and need to dump it somewhere else.
It's interesting how you included an extended cast of diesels for your adaptation. It's kind of like she's suddenly in a hive of diesels, you know.
And of course,
because I didn't think on maybe having an extended cast of diesels. It was just only Diesel 10 and Splatter and Dodge in my adaptation. But yours, provided an extended cast here.
Of course, the extended cast is for only one reason, which we'll get to.
Yes. I never expected what was coming up. I think maybe you shared me a source or the script one time, but yeah, when I saw it in full, I was like, oh, this is great.
Hello?
I feel like that line was out of place, when she's just calling out for help in a hive of diesels, you know?
And here is the big man.
This lot is full.
Yeah, who's the user name again for Diesel 10 again?
Tectonic.
Yeah, he does a very good, voice for Diesel 10. Makes it more intimidating.
And there's Dennis.
Whiny, complainy Dennis.
So Dennis, his bases was actually withdrawn in 59. And I just say that he was in Ashford Works, which is in the south, and he was put into storage for about 10-ish years, and then only Diesel 10, when he found him, begged for him to save him.
Oh,
and that's the
okay.
reason why he's taken all the way to Crew.
That was a good evil laugh, by the way, because, yeah, like I said, he does a very good job as Diesel 10. I mean, the other actors who voiced Diesel 10 for you have also been good, but I think Tectonic also did a very good job. You're going to have to explain the context of what's coming up, but let's just say that it was based from I don't think it was from in theaters, it was like a direct-to-video film, was it?
Well, it was based upon a interpretation, or a movie interpretation of the book Wind in the Willows. And
Okay.
it's called...
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
so this is
song.
when the Mr. Mole was in the hive of the weasels.
Yeah. It does. This song surprisingly works, though. It's like, yeah, they're teasing, making her scared, and all that.
Of course, they all jump around and switch over the tracks, which
yes.
doesn't exactly work in real life. But I had to make an exception just to make sure that the villain song was interesting.
I mean, that's kind of like the Disney law in a way, or any cartoon. It's like, any cartoon song. It's like where they bend the laws of logic, I should have included a little yelp in there, like when they were like jumping out at her. It's like, eep! I should have done those for you. Because when I watch this scene, I just like improvise those in myself whenever I watch it. But yeah, very catchy tune, I will admit. It's a pretty underrated film as well, so yeah, to those who've not seen it, it was Mr. Toad's Wild Ride back from the 90s. I recall Eric Idle was in it, and that's all I know.
Kind of hard to get that image. I had to literally stand on my ladder and then carefully get to place the camera.
Oh, and yeah, the extended claw model you made, that was also cool.
Boss?
Well, you wanted to ask you something.
What do you want, Splodge? I'm in the middle of something.
Splatter.
And Dodge, sir.
I haven't got time to say both names. What do you two want?
We need you at the back, boss.
Yeah. Form his orders.
Consider this your lucky day, Pipsqueak.
Off he goes.
Well, Larry and Bert, you two should get going before you both miss your way back.
All right then. See you around, Diesel. Don't overwork yourselves.
Steamy.
Aww.
Go away!
Well, of course she would be traumatized.
Yeah, traumatized, but Diesel's mainly just the guy who, he's teasing.
Yeah, he was a little more polite.
Yeah, he teases when the other Diesels tease, but when it gets back down to work, then it's like, please move out of the way.
Because, he wants to continue with work.
Of course, he'll never apologize for his actions, because it's just a joke to him, but, he's his type of character. And of course, Dennis moaning, as usual.
Did he improvise that?
Yep, he did.
Shut up, comprende. That was great.
4, 5 trucks to Bridlington.
And of course, with no Rob, Eliza had to think of these things herself.
Yeah.
Bridlington was in the east, wasn't it? So that would mean I would only travel west and I'll reach Sodor. It's better than staying here.
And who's this
another
again?
one. This one's called Whistler.
Whistler, right.
Just a moment.
Yeah. A brother of Bowler, an old stuck-up.
These trucks take too long.
And of course, Diesel notices this little stowaway.
And he lets her go. That was like, oh, okay.
That would be briefly touched upon in my adaptation of Liz's Journey: A New Life.
Right, I remember reading it briefly. Oh yeah, in the background right there. some characters from 1969.
Mm-hmm. And here we are.
You know, when I first saw this, I completely missed that, like, because they were so well hidden, until I noticed a comment or something, and it was like, oh, it was back there.
We're busy here.
Oh, yes, sorry. Excuse me. Does anyone know
Yeah,
the
that
way
was
to Sodor?
that was some existing shots, you know. I mean, reusable shots.
I told you to move out of
Yeah,
the
because
way.
I'm
the
really sorry.
what was it called?
Can you please tell me if you've heard of the
Oh yeah,
island of
Didcot.
Sodor?
That entire location was completely reshot because I got like better set design. Well, this one stayed the exact same, so I know I didn't need to reshoot it.
Yep.
And of
Just
course,
like, you know, kind of some different order, but yes.
And of course, the biggest difference was that for yours, it was like Eliza left in dawn, took the entire day to get to Bridlington, and it was just the sun was just beginning to set. While this time, it was just still in the night time.
Yeah. I don't know the distance between Crewe and, you know, to here for yours, so yeah, I thought it would take like a whole day's journey to get there. That's why.
Oh, and speaking of reusing or remaking footage, this whole thing was new.
You didn't film this part.
What's your name, little one?
Well,
I'm Eliza.
it's more like when we get to the chase scene, I reuse the
yes.
same set.
You rarely see any great Westerners this far north.
Well, your chase coming up it was a tad different, but we'll get there.
That's where I used to work with my brother Peter.
And where is your brother? Hmm?
He was
Yeah, the
boss
Plaro
of
models,
Sodor,
very good,
which is
but
why
it's
I'm trying to
like,
get there.
fuck me, Percy's huge, or the Percy model is huge against
Yes.
Hurricane.
Well, I'm almost a coal dust.
Oh, she said her cruise lines.
Thank
Yep.
you, Hurricane.
And now she goes.
Think of that. Coming all this way.
Yes.
There she is, in the background.
Yeah, and how she filled up, which was super quick, but oh well.
Thanks
That's
for
why I tried
allowing
the
me to
transition on
recall.
my end.
Now, can you two please tell me the way to Sodor?
Why, of course we will.
I deliver trains there all
It wasn't mentioned in this adaptation, but they're actually lying, because that's why they were saying, "Oh, why, of course we will. Oh, yes, I delivered them to Sodor all the time." You know, but that was only mentioned in the written story, so people would probably have a difficult time understanding, like, what are they serious or really lying?
This is the hottest
Yep,
place
and
in
again
town.
with the hottest place in town shortened.
Yeah.
This is the new inside.
I don't know what you thought you were doing.
Again, I still like how this came out with the music and the vocals and all that. It all turned out so good. Because yeah, again, I wanted to have them include. I wanted to include the song, shortened, because you know. They obviously would have had to sing this to any engine who comes in. So, yeah. I mean, they proved that when they were singing it to James in Journey Beyond Sodor.
Just take a look around at the joy we found. This is the place you can have some fun. Where you can feel like a number one. We got more sunshine.
Has me wondering if that was kind of difficult to have them all moving like that.
Most definitely, because it was like, as you can see, Hurricane and Frankie were being pulled by strings, but Eliza had something called Mr. Motor, which is a special battery that's controlled by a remote to signify how
the
much
speed?
power she gets.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't collect Trackmaster or Playrail or Tommy, whatever. So, yeah, no, I didn't know the interesting effects there. So, that's cool. How you change the speed. Yeah, when I saw your adaptation, I was like kind of a bit disappointed that you did not include the evil side of them with the glowing light on their faces, but it's okay.
Yeah, basically, when I saw your version, I was like, shit.
It was mentioned in the script, but okay.
I know. God.
After that,
But oh well.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, well, I suppose that does sound
And
Whoa!
off they go. And put her into work.
I did not use that take of my recording because, you know, obviously that was like kind of muffling that out. But yours is pretty good. Yeah, in my version, I did not include the lawn montage, but you did. Because I just wanted to jump right to the
have
point.
an excuse for using the music, because it is good
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, it is. But I put part of that music for when they were leaving through the gates. So, in your canon, I was rewatching 1986 recently, and I think I saw a comment that said, so Nick is like the third engine trapped at the steelworks, I believe. So my guess is that Eliza was the second. So who was the first? Or how do you do it in yours?
Well, in 1964, 69, that was it. You saw a big tender engine called Luca. He more or less was willing to help out, so he wasn't really trapped per se. Then Eliza came in, and then in the engine of 1986, Nicholas came in afterwards.
Right.
And then afterwards it's Thomas and James.
I thought there would be maybe several others, but okay.
I mean, there most likely were a few others, but those are the only ones you'll see on screen.
Water again, I see. Well, more fuel means more work. And we are very impressed with the work you've done, little engine.
I remember I came to you to ask for Serena's lines of Frankie because some of the dialogue that she first did with my adaptation were mostly okay, but some of them needed work. And so when I saw your adaptation, I was like, oh, can I please use them or something like that? Because like the second take that she did, some of the lines worked out much better.
Wait! I have been working hard all morning.
Of course, that's one of the benefits of when we share audio with each other. So I asked for Callum's lines, you asked me for some Serena's, and of course, speaking of reused lines.
Oh yeah,
there's Boris.
The Steelworks guy. Yeah, that was Greyhound Productions.
And there she goes, backing away in defeat. Almost got derailed. And there's a little wink there.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'll never find Peter or Sodor. Be stuck here as a slave. No.
Yeah, when I did this line, I remember it's like, okay, I gotta remember it's like one of those, no, wake up, stupid, or no, stupid, you can do this. But like when I did those lines, it's like also trying not to break down because she's terrified still, so she's trying to give herself the confidence, but she's still terrified. So that's like why like some of her lines were like breaking down almost.
And of course, there's my version of 16.
I remember how in another special you had another actor and another face pack of 16, I believe, or has that always been the same?
It's always been the same, but the voice actor did change.
Yeah, it was the one from that early special, 1963. Who was that?
Yeah, in 1969, that was J,
69.
or Piece of J.
Oh, interesting. I guess I didn't realize. But yeah, Daniel I can't say his last name. Daniel Alsop? Yeah, he voiced 16.
Yeah. Because J did do a very good job of 16, but granted, you just heard it for one line.
Yes.
But then, I kind of wanted, like, someone who sounded similar-ish close to NWR 58. And only because he voices 16, aka Sheffield, in Wild West's content, as well as his own. And I thought, well, Daniel does sound pretty close. and he took the role, and
No,
here we are.
I'll only slow you down. Plus,
Interesting.
if other entrants are trapped here, they'll need to know the way out.
Of course, one of the biggest ones is that you didn't see the flashback, which
That's okay.
now looking back, I could have tried to do the flashback because it wouldn't have been that hard, but I guess I wasn't thinking. Oh yes, and
Yeah.
the
Here's like
Trackmaster
where
model.
the... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the Trackmaster models are just a little bit too big to fit through the archway and almost tipped over that building.
Yeah. But I was going to say, here's where his chase sequence is different from mine. Kind of similar, but just some differences.
Escaping!
Wait! We can't let you leave!
You're our favorite new engine!
To go, taking a shortcut.
Not so fast!
Where did she get that train? Because she was just following her. That was a big error right there.
We'll go after her.
Big error, but had to stick with the script.
Yes.
What am I gonna do?
Of course, back in where she started.
Where you think you're going, little engine?
Yeah, another good choice of music for the chase sequence.
And up to this water tower.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
Push against the hurricane!
But yeah, this time, like, your truck's just, like, knocked over instead of being broken.
Sorry, Frankie.
Don't just stand there like an idiot! Get up!
Again, it's like, you know, the brawn going after, and the brain was getting hurt, you know.
And here's the biggest difference. Hurricane just chose to let her go.
Yeah. Instead of, like, ramming into the ladles, the slag ladles or whatever.
I think it's kind of like, apart from like, like, if Hurricane really did have his way, it'd be like, yes, he would chase after, well, any engine that tries to escape, but it'd be more like he would kind of have the self-conscious to realise that maybe it'd be best to just not let them be a prisoner.
Yeah, again, kind of the same thing with, like, Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove, like, where he is probably thinking about it. It's like, should I let her go or what?
Oh dear, and here's
well, I can't believe you included this. This is meant as a joke on DeviantArt. I threw in for fun. It wasn't meant to be canon in the story, but Adam had to adapt it. Oh, God.
Yeah, because it was like, you were teetering on like whether it was canon or it was just an added scene, but ultimately you decided to just remove it because it didn't contribute much. As for me, I was like, I like it. It stays.
It was meant to be a joke scene. That's what it was. But in the end, I kind of grown to accept it, I guess. But it's still, it's like, why?
Who are you?
I remember seeing the comments from people saying, "Oh God, Beresford, no!" And I remember how you said, "Don't worry, I'm not including the song, so I spared you."
Really nice to meet you, Beresford, but
Yeah, just imagine that though, an entire parody of Eliza? Who's Eliza? Oh God, there she goes.
Yes. Kind of similar to how Frankie was being lifted in the TCC. Because I had no idea how you would lift, train from the back end.
too, Beresford. I am lonely back at my home, all because I missed my brother.
And in the joke scene that I wrote out on DeviantArt, it was like she uses kindness to make Beresford see, I can't have you trapped here, so I'll let you go. So she used kindness to let her be on her way.
Thank you, Beresford.
Farewell, Eliza.
Thank you, Adam.
Now this is the part. This is where the experimental yard is.
Okay, I just didn't think on that actually, because again, my adaptation I thought would be just a random junction. I didn't think it would be connected to the experimental yard.
Who are you?
It just creates a very fun what if. Like if Naval didn't appear, maybe she could have went down the wrong line and met Theo, Lexi, and Merlin.
I admit, when I was writing out the story, I was like, should she meet the experimental engines? But I was like, you know what? It's going to be pretty much a copy of JBS, so I decided to let them off the hook. Besides, she was like, she was going the other way and she wouldn't be able to go into the yard, you know?
Not to mention they wouldn't contribute too much, because it'd be more like, hello, I'm trying to get to Sodor. Oh, you want to get to the island of Sodor?
It's like,
well, we don't know where that is.
Yeah, we don't know where that is. And like, yeah, it's a pretty much useless scene. So, yeah, even though I like Merlin and the experimentals, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it would work. So I cut that idea out before it went into writing. But it would be nice if, like, you know, she did interact with Merlin, because Merlin is one of my favorite characters.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Great. Just
You know, makes me wonder. I mean, I know you got a long ways to go, but you planning on introducing the experimentals to Sodor or something?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Cool.
Well, she was almost inching her way in.
Oh no! What if she was sitting there and then one of the experimentals is like, "Oh, a visitor," and then they drag her in? Oh god!
Or worst case, it'd be like Theo looks at it and be like, "Lexi, there's a big butt in my way."
Jeez. Okay, that would be like another written joke example right there. Good lord. Oh.
And there she goes.
Yep. The final stretch, almost. Just on rail.
There's a cameo from someone.
I couldn't tell who that was. Who was it?
Bowler.
Bowler,
Yeah, DC61.
Yeah. Alright, so difference here, like mine was nighttime, yours is just sunset, right?
Yep.
But yeah, reusable footage right here.
Yep. Without sort of the extended scenes with the driving fireman.
Right,
Oh, that's
yes.
all right, Navel. You've done enough by getting me this far, so I thank you for your kindness.
I wish you to the best of luck to your new home on Sodor.
Shame though, because Royal Naval Reserve is actually scrapped in real life. So,
Aww, real shame.
I've got to find the harbor
Yeah.
master and try to make up a reason why I'm heading to Sodor. But where am I going to find him? This harbor is pretty big.
Somebody please take these vans away.
I like how Ben did a Scottish accent for this character. Kind of reminds me of, like, you know, Scrooge or Alan Young style.
I think it was more like a Mr. Krabs impersonation.
Mr. Krabs? He's not Scottish.
Well, you're not in my papers, miss, which doesn't look good for you.
Wait, but I...
Excuse me, sir. One of the shipper...
Oh, how convenient.
I know. I was like,
I mean,
so this is how you
realistically,
did
that would be
it.
just been dead end. It'd be like, well, you're on the list, get on my yard.
How am I supposed to get onto a ship now?
Oh, hang on a bit, Chuck.
Oh, and yes, another difference with Carly.
Sorry.
Yep. Well, she was only a cameo twice in my footage and Andrew's footage. She
Well,
actually does a proper bang appearance here,
You're not gonna pick me up, are you?
which is a little bit inconsistent because I'm not sure when Carly's basis was built, but it must have been like at least in the 90s. Now that, and she's called a big new fancy crane, because again she was built in the 60s, so she can't be that new.
Oh, so she's a BFC.
Towards the island?
I'm sorry, I just threw a joke like big friendly giant BFG.
Yeah, big friendly crane.
No, big fancy crane.
Oh.
BFC.
I'm not sure if you'd be allowed, Chuck.
Please, I must get on.
And yeah, here's another moment where like she was almost near on the verge of tears, like kind of like voice breaking style, because he's like, please, I've come so far, don't let me miss my chance here, kind of thing. So I had to put emotion in that.
Thank you, Carly.
Don't mention it. Now
Yeah.
up you go.
Up you go.
What is that, like a beaded necklace or some kind of chain?
Yeah, it's a chain necklace.
Goodbye, Carly.
Yep.
Thank you again.
And on the Trackmaster, well, boat.
And good luck on Sodor.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that.
It looked as though it was gonna fall over.
Yeah, because the wheels are specially designed to make it look like it's wobbling side to side. But I suppose
Okay.
sometimes on counterbalance, it does look like if the model's too heavy, it would tip over.
Yes.
Now it's time I
Because the
return
boat does actually move by itself if you put like a
Oh.
Trackmaster model inside of it, but it only works with like Trackmaster 2 items. So like Philip, Timothy, all that. So anything with rubber tires, that doesn't work.
How curious.
Alright, everyone, let's get the rest of these supplies and this engine to Ireland.
Ireland? Wait.
Oh dear.
No, sir. I'm meant to be loaded off here on the island of Sodor.
Sodor? Les, this isn't Sodor. This is the Isle of Man.
Ah, she took the wrong way. So yeah,
Well,
that's
I
another
mean,
major difference.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose Carly didn't know better. She just called the Isle of something and be like, Sodor, was it?
Yeah, so that's a difference right here with Adam's adaptation is how she never reached Sodor yet. And so she has to wait a couple decades.
What's this for?
Yep, put on the low loader because although she is small, she's still big enough, too big for the narrow gauge railway.
See, the Isle of Man doesn't have any rails for you, for this island is run by narrow gauge, not standard.
But where am I going to go? I must get to Sodor.
Don't worry, we know somewhere you can be kept safe.
Well, thankfully, the Isle of Man railway was kind enough to let you, station there.
Yes. It's a shame that she's not interacting with any of the narrow gauge engines, isn't she?
Granted, one, I don't have any of their models, so that would be one thing. And yeah, it's just complicated.
I mean, she shut up. She wouldn't be able to see anyone. Except
Oh
for
dear.
humans. What do you mean,
Yeah.
oh dear?
Yeah, I kind of did a very big error with this because that's Stacey Jones. But either I was lazy or I completely forgot. But she's supposed to have black hair, which I kind of forgot to add on Photoshop.
Well, your human figures are, built like that.
I'm just being kept safe here until I go to Sodor.
And do you want to know the most interesting part about this was? When I was writing this, like, when I had the story bang, closed, absolutely done, this girl was supposed to be someone completely random, and the workman was supposed to be random as well. And I knew that she needed a name or something, so I was like, what could it be? I don't know, Stacy, someone like that. And then Nicholas pointed out to me, Stacy, you mean like Stacey Jones? And I was like, yes, that's it.
Well, I mean, it kind of fits because, Isle of Man is like the location for Shining Time, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
The exterior
at least
part.
in the TV. I mean, no, Thomas the Magic Railroad, that's
Yeah.
it. Ah, yes, and the book.
Mm-hmm. Never seen that cover before, so I'm guessing that was the first edition, right?
Yep. So that's the first edition without the sleeve, which showed like a big illustration picture.
This is amazing.
But that's nice how, she would know the stories because in my canon, she's going to go through a long history with Percy when she makes her arrival on Sodor.
Of course you can, dear.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, she at least found out via the book, at least, and yeah, I think mainly the book because it'd be very awkward to try and bring in like a giant TV to show her the TV show. So, more or less, she was like, "Well, I know everything that happened in your life, Peter. Stalker. Well, you don't know everything. I once crashed into a chocolate factory."
Yeah, I mean, there would be some limitations that she wouldn't be able to have. So maybe, no TV and the books were her only thing. Oh, and yeah, the reference here with the Shining Time song. Because, that connects with how the exterior of Shining Time from Magic Railroad was filmed here.
So you see, being brave
And skipping forward to 2014.
It should have been
when
fall,
Tale
though.
of Brave. Yeah.
Yeah, fall, because that's how the setting was in Tale of the Brave.
You reminded me someone told me long ago. I think she said if I was afraid, I should look at, shiny bars. Or was it
I saw
sparkling
comments from
cars?
people saying, shiny balls. Like, no, it's shiny bars.
Comforting to look at. Come to think of it, I can barely remember what she looked like.
There's a bit of an error here with the line of this scene, you know, when he's saying, I wish I knew. Like, come to think of it, I don't remember what she looked like. Like, when he said, I wish I knew, it's like, yes, he does know the name, because then he says to us a line later, it's like, my sister Eliza. So that was a bit of an error right there. He knows her name, but just kind of doesn't remember what she looked like now. Because who knows if maybe they've grown up a bit. Like how, you know, us humans of today, we've grown a bit, haven't seen a relative in so long. It's like, my God, you've gotten big, that kind of thing. So, you know.
Yeah. I don't know what she looks like. Have you considered looking in the mirror? I think she looks just like you.
But yeah, that was Adam's adaptation of Liz's Journey in the Beginning. So that was also very good. A year or two before my adaptation, but it was a pretty good intro for the folks.
Yeah, the credit sequence I like most. Cause
yeah, real nice
I like
with the stars.
The sparkling I used. I can't remember where I got that from, but I must have tried to find like either like shiny stars or at least shiny sparkles, and then slow down the footage because I think it was like it must have been like what people use for like space travel. So it's like you should see the
like
front of the ship.
Light speed style, you're saying, going very fast. Yeah, I think I know what background you're talking about.
Yeah, so I just slowed down the footage to make it look like they were gradually coming towards you rather than zooming past the camera.
Mm-hmm. But it's nice because, you know, it reflects on, you know, how Percy was just talking about stars and how the two of them would look upon them if they were separated. So I like that.
But of course, well, at least for my version, her story's not finished yet. She's now got, well, the next story, but you also got the prequel as well. And, at least only for me at least, a little in-between story to show what else happened in her life.
Oh.
And Meryl.
Did that happen after this event?
More
like your coming story.
Like, not exactly, but it's more like it takes place, like, way before that she chooses to run away, and before 1964.
Okay. So it was during her time with Peter on the Great Western, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Made it sound as if you were going to do a story of, like, she's still shut up in the shed, and then we go to Meryl feeling depressed. So I'll be like, good, that's going to be an interesting story.
Speaking of being shut up in the shed.
Morning, Stacy. You're a bit early to visit me.
Oh, don't worry about
Yeah, she hasn't aged a bit.
Well, I wouldn't say that because I noticed how when you had Stacy, like, sitting on her bottom, I'm trying to say, for the figure, that just showed her height as a kid. So now she's on her full height.
Yeah, there's the fat man.
Sir, I've been longing to see your railway, and to meet you in person is incredible.
Yes, Stacy has told me all about your journey all across England back in 1969. And although it's about 46 years late...
So this is how, compared to both of our adaptions, like Liz arrived right away on boat, and in Adams, Sir Topham had arrived to buy her.
Yeah, that's kind of like the biggest difference. That at least it was like he was forethinking about the busy traffic on Harwick. Instead of being like, oh, so you're a new engine? Well, might as well give you some work. The Harwick branch would do.
Well, I'm not going to reveal much as it would spoil my next story.
The next
so
story.
They're going to have to wait and see, but mine is going to be a little more, it will make more sense in compared to what you just said. But that's it for watching the Liz's Journey the Beginning movies, both mine and Adam's. So thank you all for joining in, and stay tuned for the other future stories of Liz as told from both of us. So until then, this is Liz Productions 5784 signing off with Adam.
Yep. Thank you for having me a part of it, Liz. And I'll see you all next time.
My pleasure. Have a good one, folks.